podcasts and visible powerhouses, microorganisms in daily life. Hi everyone! Welcome to Science Unseen, the podcast where we dig into the hidden forces shaping our world. I am Tatiana Cantillo Rangel.
And I am Luisa Sanchez. Today we're talking about something that we can see but that affects our life constantly. Microorganisms. These tiny organisms are everywhere, from the food we eat to the air we breathe. But they are not all bad. In fact, many are essential for life.
Exactly. We're going to explore the different ways microorganisms impact our life, from the bacteria in our guts to the yeast that makes bread rise. Let's jump in.
Let's start with what might be one of the most mind-blowing facts about microorganisms. Our body are absolutely full of them. In fact, there are trillions of microbes living in us right now.
Right, and most of them live in our gut, where they play crucial roles in digestion and immune function. Have you heard of the gut microbiome, Luisa?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a little ecosystem inside us. Studies show that the biodiversity of our gut microbiome cannot affect our overall health, even our mood and mental well-being.
And if you think about it, we're constantly feeding these microbes. The food we eat affects which kinds of bacteria thrive in our gut. It's one reason why fiber-rich foods are recommended. They help nourish beneficial bacteria.
So, next time you eat a salad, remember, you are not just feeding yourself, you are feeding trillions of little bodies too.
Second section, microorganism and environmental impact. Speaking of science, microorganisms are also huge players in environmental science. For instance, some bacteria can break down pollutants and help clean up oil spills. It's called bioremediation.
That's a great point. These microorganisms naturally break down substances in their environment. So, scientists have figured out ways to harness that ability for pollution cleanup. They have even discovered bacteria that can consume plastic. That's amazing.
Imagine if we could use those plastic-eating bacteria on a large scale. It could be revolutionary for waste management and reducing plastic pollution.
Yes, and microorganisms also play a role in our water treatment systems. When wastewater enter treat facilities, bacteria are used to break down harmful compounds, making the water safe to return to the environment.
It's incredible to think about how much these tiny organisms do without us even noticing. They are like invisible superheroes.
the future of microorganisms in science and technology. So, where do we go from here? The study of microorganisms is still evolving, and the future looks promising. From the instance, scientists are exploring how microbes can produce sustainable biofuels.
That's right. Some bacteria can turn gas materials into energy. If we can scale that process, we could have a renewable energy source that reduces our dependence on fossil fuels.
And there's also research into how microorganisms can be used in medicines, like developing new antibiotics or even using good bacteria to fight off harmful infections.
It's amazing that something so tiny can make such a big difference. Whether it's in our bodies, or food, or our environment, microorganisms really are an essential part of life on Earth. Fourth section: Microorganisms in food production. Now, let's move from inside our bodies to ordinary plates. Microorganisms are behind some of our favorite foods. Think yogurt, cheese, bread, and even chocolate.
That's true. These foods rely on fermentation, a process where microbes like bacteria and yeast break down sugars, producing unique flavors and textures. For example, yogurt gets its tang from lactic acid bacteria.
And we can't forget bread. The yeast we use to make it rise is actually a microorganism when yeast ferments the sugars in the dough. It produces carbon dioxide, which makes the dough puff up.
It's fascinating how people discovered these techniques centuries ago without knowing much about microbiology. But today, scientists are studying this process to create new flavors, improve food safety, and even increase the nutritional value of our food. So, to finish today's episode, microorganisms might be invisible to the naked eye, but their impact is truly massive. From the helping us digest food to potentially saving the planet, they are more than just germs.
Actually, and hopefully, after today's episode, our listeners will have a new appreciation for these enzyme organisms. They're not all bad, in fact, many are essential.
Thank you for tuning into Science Unseen. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave us a review. Let us know what other unseen science topic you would like us to cover. And remember, Sometimes the smallest things have the biggest impact. We will see you next time on Science Unseen. Bye bye.